Hey you guys, it's your girl Simone and welcome back to my channel. So as y'all can see, hold on, I can't even say if y'all can see by the title because I got two titles in my head. I don't know if I want to put in the title and give it like a dead giveaway, or I don't know if I want to give it like some suspense and then y'all figure it out at the end. I don't know, so I really don't know what the title gonna be, but whatever that title say, it got y'all attention and you're here to hear this story, so let's get into it. But before we get started with this story, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give your girl a thumbs up, and comment down below when y'all. All right, let's get straight into it. So this story takes place back when I was like 18, 19, right? Probably about to be 19, yeah. Okay, so after, because me and Joe, we was together for like years, and then we broke up for like a long ass time, and then we ended up eventually getting back together, which y'all would know all of that because y'all gonna know all of me and everything about me. But anyway, so yeah, so at this time when we broke up for like a good year, and Joe was all I knew, y'all. So of course y'all already know I, like a lot of people, went through a hoe phase. Like a lot of people went through a hoe phase. I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm an open book, so y'all know. So anyway, around this time my homegirl was dating this boy or whatever, and we all went to school. Like, well, no. So anyway, my homegirl was dating this boy, and we used to always be at his house and like just be chilling and all that other shit. It would be like me, him, her, like some of his other cousins, because one of my other homegirls talked to his other cousin, like another homegirl be there. Like it didn't matter, but we'll always be at his house like majority of the time. So anyway, we used to always be at his house, right? Just chilling, kicking and whatever like that. They don't need no names, it don't matter. So we be at his house, y'all, and he always had this cousin, like, okay, so their house, it was a front house and a back house. So he stayed in the front house with his other cousins and whoever the hell else, because a lot of times we'd be just like outside chilling. One time, like we came in the house a few times, but most of the time we outside. So they had a back house in the back, right? And when I say he had a fine, y'all, he had a fine cousin that lived in the back house. This man was fine. Like even the home, like we all would be like, dang, y'all see the cousin? Like he never used to really speak to us. Like he would just walk by, go by his day. Like his cousin would speak to him, and we'd always be like, damn, all of us like, ooh. So we'd be like, what's up with your cousin? Like, you know, he used to be like, oh, because the cousin, he was older than us or whatever, and he was like fine, y'all. Like he was fit, like he looked good. Like this boy looked good. So we're gonna call the cousin, because this story is about the cousin, so we're gonna call him Lil Murder. And if y'all ever seen P Valley, that's why I called him Lil Murder, and I'll go into more details about that later. So y'all, so we always used to see the cousin or whatever like that. So one day, and the cousin, mind y'all, said he never paid us no mind. Like if we was in the house and he'd come in there and say something to his cousin, like we'll be like hi, and he'd just be like, you know, head nod and go by his day. So we'd be like, oh, he not worried about us. Like that's a grown ass man, he looks good. Anyway, so yeah, so one day my homegirl boyfriend came in there and he was just like, Simone, Lil Murder said, what's up with you? I said, what? So we all like, what? They like, Lil Murder said, what's up for her? And we all like, oh, and it was just like, he said, what's up with me? So I'm like, what you mean? He said, what's up with me? Like my car blocking his car, he needed to move. Like, what you mean? So he like, nah, like Lil Murder digging you. He said, you cute, like you look good, like he want to talk to you. So we like, what? They like, bitch, you better talk to Lil Murder. I'm like, I got to, like, you know, you got to do it for the hood, because you got to just do it, because it's like, we all thought Lil Murder was fine as fuck. So it's like, yeah, I got to talk to Lil Murder. So I'm like, hey, tell Lil Murder I said was good, period. So he like, all right. So he went and he left, and the next thing you know, he walking back and you see Lil Murder, because he had his red hat on. He has these shorts, like, not basketball shorts, but he just had like some regular like shorts on that like stopped like, you know, knee or whatever. And he had on a white tee with his chains, red hat. Oh, Lil Murder was looking good. Anyway, so Lil Murder walked back. I'm getting nervous. I'm like, oh my God, why the hell did he go get Lil Murder? So Lil Murder came back and he was just like, oh, what's up? Like, I'm Lil Murder. And I'm just like, I'm Simone, like shaking. I used to be so nervous around boys, y'all. I used to be so nervous because, like I said, Joe was all I knew. Like, I didn't know nothing, nobody else. So, I mean, I had boyfriends before, but it was never like, that was always like school type shit, whatever. So, being in the real world, the dating world with men, I used to be so nervous. So, I'm like, hi, I'm Simone. Like, shaking and whatever. So we talking. He was just like, okay, what's your number? So I gave my number. He like, all right, I'm finna go. Every time we was there, he was always leaving. Like, and he always have like a bag, and he always be going to the gym to play basketball or whatever he was doing. And I wanted to be a ball that day. Y'all, bouncing me around, okay? Anyway, so yeah, so anyway, so we texting back and forth or whatever. And yeah, and he just seemed real cool. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I don't know if y'all ever been in relationships like this or whatever. Like, I don't know, like, as y'all see when I do stories times about Joe, and like when I do more about him, y'all see like he was really mentally abusive as well as other things. But he used to always tell me like, any guy you talk to, he's not gonna want to be with you. He's not gonna do this. He knew I didn't love myself. Like, he knew I was super insecure about myself, that I didn't really like, I believed everything he was telling me. So he used to tell me like, guys is only gonna want you for one thing. So after a while, it was like, hey, okay, I want that too at this point. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. So again, that's, like I said, whole face. So yeah, so when me and Lil Murder would be texting, we'd be texting about a lot of like, y'all, like sexual stuff or whatever, but we had never actually kicked it. Like, I would still go over to the cousin house, and he'll still see me, he'll speak like, what's up, give me my hug, and it'll be like, he goes to that gym smelling good, y'all. Like, you ever know, like, y'all fellas, y'all know too, for the fellas watching and for the ladies watching, y'all, when you, that's a A1 for me. I don't know about y'all, but just if you could smell him when he approach you, and it'd be like, he smelled good, that's give you that's a part of your rating. That's you smelling good. Yeah. So anyway, I still would see him, we still would text, whatever. So on this one day, let's get to it, because y'all know I be talking too much, sorry. So on this one day, Lil Murder was just like, what you doing later? Like, you doing something later? Before he was finna leave out to the gym. We was kicking it at the cousin house. So he was all like, you doing something later, like around 8, 9? So I'm like, no, I'm not doing nothing. Like, what's up? He was like, all right, so around then, I should be back from the gym, like already showered and all that. He was like, let's go out to eat. And I'm like, Lil Murder trying to take me out to eat. Mind y'all, like when I said we'll text about like other stuff too. It wasn't always about like sexual stuff or whatever. But we'll just always just text like that. And mind you, this probably was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in. We would just been texting, or I'll just see him, how I get a hug. Boom. Like, we didn't hang out. So when he said that, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take you out to eat, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be ready by then. Like, I'll be ready. He like, all right. So I'm like, I'll just pull back up over here and we could hop in your car. So he was like, all right. It's crazy because I was going to name him what kind of car he drove, but I didn't end up doing that. So yeah, so he was like, all right. So they like, bitch, Lil Murder trying to be seen in public with you. Like, I'm just like, yo, I got to look good. So I'm like, I got to go home. I got to put some heels on. I got to do this. I got to look good, whatever. Because Lil Murder trying to be seen with your girl in public? What? So yeah, so he texted me like, all right, boom. So I ended up pulling up, whatever, and he was just like, we got in the car. He was like, do you drink? I know you not of age, but he was. So he was like 27 or something like that. So he was like, I know you're not of age. He was like, but do you drink? I'm like, yeah. So he like, all right, you want to get a bottle? Like, we could go eat. After we eat, if you still want to kick it with me, like, we could kick it at my house, because he was the only one who lived in the back. So he's like, we could kick it at my house, watch TV, listen to music, whatever. I'm like, cool, fine with me. So we go get a bottle before we head over to where we was going, y'all. And let me tell y'all where we went. He took me to Red Lobster. It's not funny. He took me to Red Lobster, y'all. I like they cheddar biscuits, so it's cool with me. But I wasn't big on seafood at that time anyway, so. Anyway, and then that's not really, okay, never mind. So anyway, y'all, he took me to Red Lobsters or whatever, and before we went there, we had got a bottle of Hennessy, so we drunk like 2 shots each, like, in the parking lot. So I'm already like, ooh, I'm feeling it. That Hennessy went right through me, straight to Lil Murder. But anyway, so we go inside a Red Lobster, and just so happened, probably because I have my sister, like, help me with my makeup and stuff, so, like, I was looking cute or whatever. So when we went in there, they didn't even ID me, like, when I ordered a drink. So we in there, we got drinks or whatever. So we at the table, we talking, whatever. And he was just like, let's play Never Have I Ever. And if you done it, you know, take a sip. So I'm like, all right. So we at the table, we playing Never Have I Ever. So at this point, you know, Lil Murder started asking some weird ass questions. And I just kind of was overlooking it because I'm just like, he looked good. And, you know, we tipsy. Maybe, I'm like, we tipsy. Maybe when he drunk, he just kind of weird or something, I don't know. So it was like Never Have I Ever. We going back and forth, and y'all already know. So first it was normal ass shit, like you know, normal questions. So we could be drinking, like if you've done it, you drink or whatever. So then next thing you know, he started asking me shit like, cause he was in college, or I don't know if he had graduated or what, but he had went to UCLA at some point in his life. I think he still was in college, yeah. And he went to UCLA. That could explain why he always had red on. No, or maybe he was a blood, or maybe he just like red. I don't know. But anyway, so he went to UCLA or whatever. Yeah, he did. So he was just, or did he graduate? It doesn't matter. Y'all, either way go. UCLA, he was there. That he was a student. So he was like, so this is one of the questions he asked me. He was like, never have I ever fucked my college roommate. Y'all. And I'm just like, but I'm like, I never had a college roommate, so no. And he was just like, man, college, man, you need some wild stuff happening in college. So I'm just thinking, like, at this point, because I know Lil Murder live in the back, so I'm thinking maybe when he had a female roommate living with him or something like that, because you know, he stayed there. So I'm just like, okay. So the next thing you know, like, I'm asking him questions like, you know you want to ask a guy questions, and we've had never have ever, so I could ask you like, never have I ever ate ass on the first date. Like, you know, I asked him that, like, you know, see, like, where we getting at later, you know, where this gonna go. So, you know, whatever. So then he asked me like, never have I ever ran a train on my homie's girlfriend. And I was just like, what? How is this, like, do you want me to ask you that? Because how would I have ran a train on my homie's girlfriend? Like, he was asking the most weirdest shit, and I was just like, to where I changed the subject and we started talking about other shit. Because he could have a deep ass conversation. I like that too. Like, I hate niggas who want to just always talk about some sexual shit. This shit is fucking annoying. Like, it's irritating. You ain't got shit else to talk about. Like, me and him could have a deep ass conversation. So we talking about a lot of shit. He telling me about like school. Like, we just talking about like deep shit, you know, the universe, a whole bunch of like deep ass shit, whatever. So it's time for us to go. So we go. He like, you still gonna kick it with me? He wheeled me back in with the deep conversation. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna come. So we went. So we get in his house. It's dark as fuck. He kept it dark. Like, he kept it dark. So this, like, when you walk in. I'm trying to visualize this in my head again. So you walk in. He had like stuff on the wall. Then he had a couch. It was facing this way, and the TV was right there. And then his bed was like off to the side over there. So I walk in, I sit on the couch or whatever, and he went like straight sitting on his bed, like leaned up on his bed. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And I'm still sitting on the couch, and he like put some music on. So we just like talking and stuff like that. So the next thing you know, he just like came, sat by me. He was like, you want to kill this bottle? Like, I'm like, all right, let's finish the bottle. Y'all, I was so drunk to where I was up in there like walking around, just talking, touching stuff, stumbling, damn near finna drop stuff. Really was embarrassing myself. And he just looked at me like, and y'all, I'm just like, oh shit, let me just sit down. I'm doing too much. So when I went back to sit down, you know, Lil Murder started making a move, whatever. One thing led to another. We kissing, we doing this. Lil Murder was Lil Murder. I don't know if I can say that, so I'm not gonna say it. Lil Murder was beep. Y'all know the word. Lil Murder was doing me like I stole something out the crib, and he wanted to teach me a lesson. Like, I was just like, wow, this was crazy. So in my head, I'm really like, Joe was right. Niggas do want one thing, because this man is not making love to me. This man is doing me crazy. Like, it was to a point where it was like, okay now. So afterwards, we just, like, he didn't tell me, like, he didn't hit me with the, so what you finna do? He didn't hit me with that line. He was telling me, like, hey, we've been drinking, like, you could stay tonight if you want to, or whatever like that. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I wasn't gonna stay tonight. I was just gonna wait till I sobered up and left anyway, because things start getting weird, really weird. Let me tell y'all. So I'm sitting there on the couch or whatever. I don't know if Lil Murder thought we was gonna go rounds or whatever like that, but it wasn't even, it was just too wild for me. So, and he was kind of like, it was things he was saying during too that was very fucking weird, and things that he wanted to do during that was it wasn't weird, but it was different to me. So yeah, so he's like just walking around the crib naked, whatever like that, just walking around talking to me. Yeah, so let me tell you about this one time in college. Remember when I said that never have I ever? And I'm like, oh, about the rent a train on the girlfriend? And he was just like, yeah. Remember when I said that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let me tell you the story. So I'm like, all right. So he was like, yeah, one time in college, he was all like, he was like, when I was staying at USC. So then when he said I was staying at USC, my mind just started going different places. I'm like, hold on. okay, but I'm gonna ask him in a minute, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I was thinking in a minute. I don't want to say it right now. I'm gonna tell y'all. So I'm just he like, yeah, when I was standing, he's like, one time I was in what the fuck? Maybe he stayed in an apartment, because now that I think about it, he said one time he was in his, no, he walked in, or he was in his, I don't know. Either way it goes, yeah, he said, yeah, he was in his room. That's what he said. So maybe, I don't know how their dorms are set up or whatever, or maybe they had their off-campus apartment or whatever, but he said one time he was in his room, he said he heard a lot of like fucking, I just said it, y'all. He said he heard a lot going on in the living room. So he said he walked out the room and like he peeked and he seen his roommate like bend over. Not his roommate was not bent over. He said his roommate's girlfriend bent over and they was doing it, whatever. So he like, oh, okay. He said, so I closed my door, I took all my clothes off, and I went in and we all was just, you know, having a wild time. So I'm like, we all was having a wild time, you know, and I'm just like, oh, I said, oh, so he like let you fuck his girlfriend? He's like, man, we did some crazy shit. I'm like, to her? Look, to her? And he's like, man, we just all did some crazy shit. So at this point, I'm just like, is this man trying to come out to me? So I'm like, what did y'all all do? Like, what y'all do? He's like, it was you like, you know, he's like, you don't shit like that? Like, you ever had sex with two guys at the same time? So I'm like, no. He was like, would you? I'm like, no. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, it just be like, it's a fun thing for everybody. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, one of y'all like from the back and the other one's like what? I'm, you know, trying now, Little Murder, to tell me what's going on. So he was just like, it's just crazy. He was like, he's like, I never used to pull girls in college. Like, my roommate used to always pull girls because that just wasn't my thing. So I'm like, what wasn't your thing? Like, walking up to females? He was like, just females, period. I said, oh, because you was focused on studying? And he gonna say, nah, because I never really fucked females. So I'm like, so you lost your virginity in college? He gonna say, no. So I'm like, where are we going with this conversation? Like, so he was all like, every time in college, like, my bro would like put me on to females and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, and then I bring it back the question. I'm like, so when we was at Red Lobsters and you did the never have I ever fucked a roommate, I said, so you have fucked like your roommate? I'm like, they had like co-ed dorms or something. He was like, no. He's like, well, I did fuck my roommate. And he was like, but no, they didn't have co-ed dorms. So I said, y'all lived off campus? Like, you know, like, wait, hold on, where are we going, Love Murder? Where are we going? So he was all like, nah, he was like, what you trying to, he's like, why are you beating around the question? Like, I feel like I know what you trying to ask me. So I'm like, what am I trying to ask you? Like, you know, because at this point, Love Murder, what's going on? So I'm like, I'm like, what am I trying to ask you? And he's like, you trying to ask me if I fucked my homeboy? And I was like, did you? And he was just like, yeah. He's all like, so I said, like, females wasn't really my thing. He's like, I just really start fucking with females, you know, but I'm not like gay or nothing like that. I said, what? I said, oh, like, you're bisexual? He was just like, no, like, in college is a crazy place. Like, you just do a lot of shit, you do a lot of experience, and like, so I said, you really need to go to a university. It's cool, like, living on campus. And I was just like, hold up, but I'm not finna like tell you, you know, like, clearly he know what he is. He don't want to say what he is, but clearly, like, bro, how you saying you're not bisexual, but you say, he gonna say only on party nights, like when you're really drunk, like, you know, you have fun. He was like, I feel like sex is not really about being gay or straight. It's really just about, you know, enjoying yourself and having fun. So I was just like, this is what he was trying to make it a deep conversation, but it wasn't making no sense to me. So he was all like, have you ever been with a girl? I'm like, yes. He was like, so, you know, like, so what, like, you talked to a girl or you just had a sexual experience, like, you know, like, you're not gay? And I was like, I wouldn't say that. I'm like, because if I'm attracted to a girl and guys, wouldn't that make me bisexual? And he was like, well, I guess. So I said, so you're bisexual? Like, you know, like, and he was like, no, I'm not. And I'm just like, yeah, yes, you are. So I'm like, so what are you more attracted to? Because you say you're not like really attracted to women. You know, basically, why are you talking to me? And he was just like, well, I mean, and I'm like, why does this nigga always in the gym playing basketball? He didn't want to bounce me around. He wanted to bounce a nigga around. So I'm just like, basically, like, so I'm like when you talk to me, like, what was up? Like, what did you, like, he was like, yeah, again, I never really get girls on my own. Like, he was like, this was like really a first. Like, I never really just addressed females. The only time I actually really like fuck females like that is with my homies. And he was like, and well, his roommate slash his nigga, because that's your nigga. So he was like, it's with him. He was all like, yeah, like I had sex with a girl before, you know, in high school, but it just wasn't my thing. Like, you know, like when I went to college, it was my thing. You know, me and my bros, you know, y'all get, you know, you ever get drunk and you and your homegirl, y'all just start, you know, and I'm like, no, that don't happen like that. We don't just get drunk and just be like, hey, let's scissor. Like, the fuck? So I was just like, oh, okay, y'all. And let me just say this, because I know, like, I got all type of people that watch my stuff. I'm not judging nobody. Again, like I said, like, I was just confused that, like, why did you use me to figure out if you, basically, long story short, basically what he was doing was, I guess because he was, I don't know if he was still in college or what the case may be, whatever, but he was pretty much using me to see, like, I'm gonna get there. So hold on. So I'm gonna get there. So yeah. So I'm just like, okay, so at this point, let's just change the subject, y'all, because it's like, at this point, because, like, I kind of was liking you, Lil Murder, but now I'm feeling very used, which that was the case. So anyway, so I'm just like, okay, so eventually we just watching TV, we talking, whatever, and I was just like, I'm sobered up, I'm gonna go home. So he was like, oh, you don't want round two? And I'm just like, no, because he kept trying to go in the back door, y'all, and I'm just like, that's out, because, yo, Lil Murder, chill out. You know, I'm not your homeboy. I'm not him. So y'all, so I end up going home or whatever. So he just texted me the next day, like, he texted me like good morning at first, and he never used to text me good morning. Like, we'll just randomly text. So I'm like, oh, good morning or whatever, like that. And he was just like, I hope things wasn't awkward between us last night. You seemed really drunk, and I don't know if you really remember anything that you was saying. What I was saying, nigga, do you remember what you was saying? So I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't get that drunk no more. I'm like, I remember everything, like all our conversations. I'm like, no, nothing was awkward. I'm like, but I do just want to know what was your intentions when you decided to talk to me, like, you know. And he was just like, can we talk later? I really don't want to text everything. And I'm just like, okay. He was like, are you coming by later? Like, you coming over here? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come with my homegirl, whatever. He's like, well, when you come, just come to the back, like, come to the back and we could talk or whatever, if you really want to talk. So I'm just thinking, like, it's not that fucking deep. You're not my nigga, so it's like, whatever. So when I end up going over there, I end up talking to him because he didn't want none of this shit on text message. And I'm gonna tell y'all why in a minute too. Y'all gonna figure out why. So y'all, so I'm like talking to him or whatever, and he was just like, we got to make it quick, because I was like, okay, the fuck we making it quick for? You the one said I should come here to talk to you. So he was just like, yeah, basically, I really just wanted to figure it out. He was like, because he's like, honestly, like, I'm not gay or nothing like that. He was like, but I have been lately more attracted to men. He was like, and it's actually somebody like that I'm really attracted to at this time. And I just want to see for myself, like, do I like guys or do I like women? So I'm just thinking, like, nigga, you fucked a nigga and you're attracted to them. Just be real with yourself. Like, how you gonna say? So I was like, so basically you like just used me to figure that out. And he was all like, well, I realized, like, I'm not gay. Like, we had a good time, you know, but I just was trying to see, like, maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe I'm just like, he just a cool homeboy. I don't know what it is. And he was just like, I don't want to, like, fuck up my friendship with him by trying to tell him, to explain to him that sex doesn't have to be just with a man and a woman. And basically he wanted to tell the boy, like, hey, bro, let's fuck, but that wouldn't make us gay. So I'm just thinking, like, again, why did you use me to figure this shit out? Like, you could have been up front. I'm pretty sure somebody that would have been okay with that if you would have told them, like, hey, can I fuck you to see if I really like girls? Like, so I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, he asked me, like, what do you think I should do? Like, should I tell him? Like, should I tell him? Because I don't know if he really like that, but I don't want him to think I'm gay. So when he just kept saying this, I'm just thinking, like, what do you mean think? And, you know, like, I just was just so confused. So I'm just standing there looking at him, like, looking up to him, because he was like 6 feet. And at this time, I don't even care what type of cologne he got on no more, because it's like, Lil Murder, you got me fucked up. Like, not judging his lifestyle or what he choose, that's not the reason. It's just, bro, like, how you know I didn't fall in love with you the second day I met you? Like, sometimes I fall in love within an hour. Like, you don't be playing with people. Like, you had no intentions on talking to me like that, which I kind of knew that, but yo. So I'm just like, okay. So he was like, yeah, all right, well, you gotta go. Mind you, we talking, and I'm just like, okay. So I end up going back to the front, and it was like, what Lil Murder was talking about, y'all? And I'm just like, nothing, because he told me don't tell his cousins, because they don't know, and don't tell nobody about our conversations about what he do. Don't tell nobody nothing, like, you know. So I wasn't gonna say nothing in front of his homies. And plus, I had never told them, honestly. And yeah, I never told them just because I'm like, you know, like, that's her nigga. She probably gonna go pillow talk back to him. And, you know, that's his life. That's how he chooses to live his life. And he needs to figure everything out for himself. So I don't want to be the one to go back trying to tell somebody some shit like, oh, Lil Murder, get down, like, Lil Murder gay or whatever like that. And then they say something to him. And, you know, depression is real. Like, I know clearly he's not ready to come out and accept who he is. So I wasn't about to be the one to make him do that. So anyway, so I was just like, oh, okay. So he was like, yeah, you and Lil Murder had a good time. I was like, yeah. He was like, man, I had to lie to his bitch and say he wasn't home because he told me to tell her that so she wouldn't pop up. I said, you had to lie to who? He was like, to his girlfriend. I said, his girlfriend? I said, he has a what? He's like, yeah, he has a girlfriend. She pregnant. Bro, I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. Lil Murder got what? And now y'all see why I call him Lil Murder from P Valley, because remember Lil Murder was messing with Uncle Clifford, and he wasn't upfront about who he was, you know, Lil Murder like that. And you didn't expect him to like Uncle Clifford. Yeah, that's why I call him that. So I was just like, he has a what? He's like, he has a pregnant girlfriend. I said, why you didn't tell me he has a pregnant girlfriend before you tell me he said what's up with me? He's like, oh, because like, you know, my cousin. I wasn't gonna be in his business. He's like, you never see the pregnant girl that come out the house? I'm like, you say she your cousin. And like, she will always walk in the front of the house. Like, she never walked straight to the back. And he was like, well, she is technically my cousin because she's dating my cousin. So, you know, and I'm like, why you didn't tell us? And then like, he will always be gone and she would still be in the front house. But I guess she could have left out through the front house back door to go to the back house. But still, and I'm just like, wow. I was like, that's fucked up. And he was like, what's fucked up? Like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I think they got an open relationship anyway. And I was like, nah, I just wouldn't have fucked with somebody like that. Like, that's crazy. So I ended up like, later, like probably 2 days later, I had just stopped going over there because I didn't want to see Lil Murder anyway. Because now I'm really like, bro, question on question on question. If I would have seen him, I would have had so many questions for him. But I ended up texting him anyway, like 2 days later. And I'm just like, I have a question. He was just like, well, I'm like, you have a baby on the way? And he was all like, LOL, fuck, he told you, my cousin told you. And I was just like, yeah. He was like, I hope you didn't tell them nothing about what we talked about. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, but why you didn't tell me you had a girlfriend and a baby on the way? And he was like, just because I felt like that was none of your business. What? So I'm like, how is that none of my business? I said, first of all, and at this point, because I knew he didn't want to talk over the text message. At this point, I don't give a fuck because I didn't even want to see you because, bro, what? You're weird. So I'm like, why are you? I said, how? I'm like, you have a baby on the way. So I'm confused on how the fuck you couldn't use your girlfriend to figure out if you like men or not. And he was just like, first of all, like I said, it was none of your business because we have a mutual agreement and that's why she's pregnant. Bro, no, y'all both have sex and that's why she's pregnant. The fuck? So I'm just like, bro, why are you lying? Like, he was just really just starting to just lie. And he was like, and I don't know what the fuck you talking about saying I like men. I don't know. You must be texting the wrong nigga. Because don't play with me with that gay shit. Little murder, what? So I was just like, bro, I said, you're weird as fuck. You need to be real with yourself. I'm like, don't ever text my phone ever again. I'm like, you're really a fucking weirdo. And he was just like, okay, bitch. And I was just like, blocked. At this point, I was just like, oh, like this thing got me fucked up, Lil Murder, weird ass. And it was crazy because my friends was like, oh, so what happened with Lil Murder? What happened with Lil Murder? And I'm just like, he was weird. Y'all. Like, if they see this now and they ask me like, hold on, bitch, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Lil Murder. I don't know what he's doing in his life now. It's crazy part about it, I don't even remember Lil Murder's real fucking name. I just remember where he live at. Like, I could drive past and maybe see him like, oh, okay, Lil Murder. Still see you on that bullshit. Probably see, you know, but y'all, that shit was just crazy because it was just like, bro, I don't know what the fuck he was on. I don't know. And at this point, no, cause I was gonna say, was he really gay or he just wanted to see if I let him run the train on me with his friends? No, most definitely he had to be. He clearly went into details about what him and his friend did. Y'all, anyway, Lil Murder had me fucked up. No, he was not a gangbanger, so y'all don't be trying to put two and two together. Like, who the fuck went to UCLA and was a gangbanger? He wasn't. His family was, though. So, yeah, but, y'all. Ask questions. Now that's why I ask a million fucking questions. I was just like, what? I just felt like it was annoying because it was like, even though I knew it was up with the situation, like I knew it was nothing like that, but it was still the point. Like, bro, you got a whole baby on the way. You got a girlfriend. You don't like girls. Like, why the fuck was you like wasting my time? Like, what was up with you? Oh, my sorry. Whew. My bad, y'all. So I'm just like, what was up with you? Like, oh, that shit just made me so mad. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and tell that story. Only, and that's another reason why I didn't say what type of car he drove, because I don't know if Lil Murda still drives his car. And I don't know what his lifestyle is now. Like, I don't know how he is. So I didn't want to just do too much, like give details about this man and then he like somebody, I don't know, I just don't know. But I do hope that he is well, maybe he should have told me before we did anything. At least he was honest. He did tell me, but I feel like you should have told me up front, like, hey, you know. But anyway, what y'all think? Let me know. So yeah, that was it. That was the story. I'm gonna try to get y'all another story probably by like Saturday, because y'all gonna get this Thursday, so probably Saturday, Sunday. Don't quote me. I'm gonna try, because yeah. But anyway, if you already still here, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give your girl a thumbs up, and comment down below. Thank you guys for tuning in.